This is for the leaders, the visionaries, the hope bringers, kindness instigators. This is your place to get loved, poured into, activated, and inspired. Well, good morning. Welcome to Fireside Friday, July 31st, 2026. It's so interesting because, as I've shared with you all before, sometimes messages for Friday come through all week. Sometimes they feel very clear. Other times I'll come in and sit with what's coming through. And sometimes when I even start to hit record, I'm not entirely sure where we're going. I never am positive where we're going to go. It always comes together. But today, this has been almost like a series of clues, like different pieces and parts. And one of the things that's been coming through in the last few days is the color pink. And I hadn't really investigated pink too much until this morning. And I actually even saw like this random post about pink at one point that I hadn't looked up yet, but it's really kind of neat. There are actually colors that exist in the spectrum of like what we can see and colors that we can't see from the color spectrum, like what we see in pure wavelength form, like in colors. So like red, yellow, green. I don't know if orange was in there. I think orange is in there. I'd have to look back at the list, but colors like pink, purple, magenta, gold, and silver, I think, and brown, those are all colors that actually we don't see, but our mind, our brain, bridges the gap between these color frequencies and creates for itself. So you could be seeing the color pink and I could be seeing it, but chances are we're still creating our own version with our brain because it is transmuting what is happening. And what I thought was really beautiful about pink is pink actually takes red, which is the longest and lowest frequency wavelength, visible wave, and violet, which represents the shortest, highest frequency wave. So they're far apart to come together and bridge. Um, I also thought it was really beautiful that pink, I mean, I know when we think about the color pink, we may have some um, relationship to it. I know for some of us growing up, maybe we didn't like pink because pink felt boxy to be a girl. Like, I don't like pink, I reject pink, or we loved pink. That could be associated with gender or identity, or even with love. When I think about pink, I actually have a lot of warmth associated with that color. It feels, I especially also like just like a very soft pink. I don't know. It's my preference. But excuse me, when I was looking at the color pink, it's often associated also with our heart chakra and some with our crown chakra. And I thought that was so interesting because the other thing that's been coming through for me pretty clearly is this concept around beauty and life. And so often we create the beauty in our life, whether we're actually physically creating something or we actively go out and seek it and find it and notice it. But beauty again is a experience that we're also curating for ourselves. You know, my mom, she loves flowers, and one of the nicknames my dad gave her, he was a nickname giver, and one of the nicknames he gave her was Flower Power. And during summer, it's very common that every time she leaves the house, she'll come back with more flowers. And I wish I had a picture to show you guys of like our backyard area is just full of a lot of different planters of different flowers she's put into arrangements, and she gets a lot of joy around that. And over the last couple years, I have been developing a similar affinity, which is so funny because I used to make fun of her, right, for how much time they take and intention, and you have to water them and all these things. I'm like, it's so involved. And now I enjoy that involvement process. There's something really beautiful in that connection. But what I think is really interesting is that when we go to greenhouses, what we are drawn to is very different. She really likes flowers that have lots of different patterns, things that contrast. And I really don't. I really like flowers. And it's so funny because I actually am very consistent. I almost always gravitate towards flowers that are also more of the succulent family, begonias, especially all the different varying types of begonias, which I think is so interesting. And a lot of them just have a single color. There might be a subtle shift across their petals, but I also really do prefer like red flowers. Orange flowers, if they have like a little bulb in the middle, whatever that is. And I don't know what that's about, but it's just in the noticing of what I enjoy. And I'm really consistent with it, which cracks me up every time we go because when I go to look up something maybe I don't know, it's usually related to the begonia family, which again, I think is really funny. But it brings me back to this concept of beauty and how we each also emit and radiate our own beauty. But there's another message inside of this too, because I think so often it can feel hard to see beauty in the midst of pain or suffering, or when we feel like we're struggling. And also when we ourselves don't feel radiant. And it felt very important to kind of tap into a bigger truth this morning, and that no matter how you're feeling today, as you come into this fireside, as you listen wherever you are, that you are beautiful, that you are loved, that the radiant light that you are, that you're creating, that you're drawing wavelengths together in only the way that you can, is beautiful. And even if you're not sure how all these things are going to work out for you, if you have a lot of things that you want to accomplish or things that you feel like are on your heart to contribute and bring to the world, you may not know how this is going to come to fruition. You may not have the next step in hand. That can feel really, really hard, especially in seasons when we are inside of such a big moment in history where things are changing and where our outer world is feeling very chaotic. So, when on top of that, when we're not feeling like we maybe know the next step or we can see how the pieces come together for what we want to bring to the table, or we're not even sure what the next thing really even looks like, it just felt really important to remind each and every one of you that even inside of wherever you find yourself, there can be beauty to find, and that you are inherently beautiful, that you are loved, created, seen, and known for the flower that you are, whether you're multi-pattern, multifaceted in all the colors, or whether you just prefer to be a radiant shade of pale pink, whatever that is for you. There is no wrong or right. And I think there was also just this awareness in me to just remind you that you are so loved. You are alive at this time and space, not only to bring about the things that you crave, but also so that you could experience the profound love of who you are in this moment, even when the moment in front of you might feel ambiguous, even when it might feel insurmountable, even when it might feel like something that you don't want to do. Maybe you clearly know what the next step looks like, but you're not sure how things are going to pan out. And regardless of the next step you take or the season that you're inside of, you are always loved. You're made of it. I was also looking at the word radiant because, like, pink is associated unconditional love, and the word radiant came through for me as well this morning. And I was looking at even the definition of radiant: brilliant light, brightness shooting and diverging rays or beams. So I almost envision also like, in some of the old paintings or even some goddess depictions, or we have the goddess picture photo shoots in more modern times. We have the crown with the shooting off of all of the different points. And that diverging light that again belongs to each and every one of us, but it is also uniquely our own, which is really beautiful to remember that we are radiant in the ways that are unique to us. And I was looking to because if you're here in this space, you are a pattern breaker. You are here to bring different ways of being forward, to embody a different way, to imagine and become and instill a different way forward. And I was focused, I was called to that word diverging, moving apart in different directions from a shared starting point, becoming different from one another, or straying from a plan. And I love this idea too of that diverging point, that we are diverging so often too in times of great change. It can feel like we are trudging up a mountain, but I also feel like the invitation here is to remember and remind each and every one of you that the radiant light that you carry and the healing that you're here to bring is meant to diverge. It is meant to strike. It is meant to stray from a plan, whether that's your family's plan, like mine, and whether it is cultural, conditional, whatever that looks like, you are making a different way forward. And just by living, breathing, and allowing yourself to be that radiant pink hue that you are already doing that work by allowing yourself to just beam in who you are. That is already a pattern interruption in itself. You don't have to often do anything further than that, but be grounded in the truth of who you are and then taking the next step that you feel is right for you in the season that you're inside of. Okay, let's move over here to our I love too because all of this was coming through around love. And we've got today, this is from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. Today we've got Earth Mother, feel loved and comforted. Allow yourself to be cherished. Earth Mother is protecting you with the shield of love and light. Earth Mother is the female counterpart to Sky Father. It's auspicious to receive this card because in the eyes and heart of Earth Mother, you are her child, and she is highly protective of her baby and will give you everything you need to grow and expand. Earth Mother is only covered by leaves in this card, showing the vulnerability of the earth. Every day she experiences challenges that she has to adapt to and overcome. Her energy, represented by the symbol of the pagan triple goddess, maiden, mother, and crone, behind her, behind her can help you adapt as the changes of life come your way. You may have felt overwhelmed or out of control emotionally recently, but you are now moving back to your natural center, and that will bring you to a place of clarity and openness. If you have felt ungrounded, know that Earth Mother is here to root you and help you regain your sense of strength. You may not feel like a child, but in the eyes of the divine, you are a child of light, and it's important you know that and feel loved. If you have had challenges with your mother or with being a mother yourself, know that the energies of mother healing are with you to help carry any ancestral blockages that are preventing you from making this sacred love connection. You are being guided to make choices that are based on love. And I love too this first line, allow yourself to be cherished. Allow yourself to be cherished. Allow yourself to be cherished. What would it look like and feel like in your life as you head into the weekend to cherish yourself? What would that really actually look like? Would it come through in rest and nourishing food and community? What would it look and feel like for you to be cherished? Because you are. And again, we are here at this time in this place, I believe, intentionally and on purpose. And I think there's a lot of beauty to be found. But remember, you are beautiful, radiant, and cherished. I'll see you next week.